Hello, Super Savers. I hope you're doing well. With the Fed's recent announcement that they'll keep raising rates in 2023, it seems T-bill rates will keep their upward trend for a while longer. So in today's video, I'm going to reveal our broker ranking for T-bill purchases. Who's the best, who's the worst, and why. I'm going to cover Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, and TD Ameritrade based on my personal experience with them between September and December of this year on T-bill buy orders ranging in size from $1,000 to $25,000. And yes, Schwab did buy TD Ameritrade, but acquisitions take time. Schwab has indicated that they will start transitioning a small group of TD Ameritrade customers over to Schwab in February 2023, with the process to be completed only in early 2024. So, here are the categories that I'll grade each of the four brokerage companies on: account setup, funds transfer, T-bill pricing at auction, T-bill pricing on the secondary market, fees on T-bill trades, auto roll on T-bills, and customer service. And towards the end, when I go through the overall ranking, I'll also talk briefly about why an investor may or may not want to switch over to whoever our top-ranked broker for T-bill purchases is, despite them being top-ranked, and also why I excluded Merrill Edge and E-Trade from this analysis. So with our ranking system, 3 stars is the best and 1 star is the worst. Account setup was relatively easy across the board with all 4 brokerage companies, taking about 5 to 10 minutes. Vanguard only gets 2.5 stars here though. When I opened my account with them, I didn't fall into this category or any of these 2 categories, so I had to sign up for e-delivery of statements and other documents in order to get this $20 annual account service fee waived. So make sure you tick the e-delivery of statements and documents box if you end up opening an account with Vanguard, so you don't have to pay them anything extra. Fidelity, Schwab, and TD Ameritrade all get 3 stars in this category. It was all pretty straightforward. No annual account service fee to watch out for. If there are additional services that are important to you, such as check writing, wire transfers, or canceled check fees, I'd recommend checking out the brokerage company websites directly for more information. Once I opened a new account with each of these brokerage companies, I had to transfer funds into the account from an external bank before I could start buying my first T-bills there. Vanguard gets 1 star because after the 2 days it took for the bank transfer to go through, my money then had to sit in what Vanguard calls a settlement fund for 7 calendar days before I could place my first transaction. In fact, that was the reason why it took me so long to do this video here on how to buy T-bills at Vanguard, because I couldn't touch the money in my Vanguard account for an entire week. I suppose it may be a nice way for Vanguard to earn some extra interest from the new customer's money, because I don't know of any other major brokerage company that does this besides them. Fidelity and Schwab both get 2 stars. The initial bank transfer took 1 to 2 days to complete, so pretty standard. And unlike with Vanguard, my money was available immediately for trading once it hit my account with them. There was no waiting period. Also, with Schwab, my follow-up bank transfers happened the next business day. And TD Ameritrade, they get 3 stars. I was able to buy my T-bills with them immediately after I opened my account with them and set up my bank transfer. The money wasn't even in my TD Ameritrade account yet. Quite honestly though, I don't think there was much risk from their perspective of doing this. If the bank transfer had not gone through by the settlement date, they probably would have just canceled my order. Everyone gets the same price when buying at auctions, regardless of whether you're buying new issue T-bills from one of these firms or from Treasury Direct. As it's the same for everyone, I did not award any stars. Ooh, the secondary market. There, I said it, the secondary market. I know you secondary market folks have been waiting for this for a while, and I really do appreciate your patience, but now you'll see why. I've essentially been tracking and comparing new issue and secondary market prices for buying T-bills across a number of different platforms since November. Now, do keep in mind that I focused on the buying side in my analysis, the ask price of the T-bills. I didn't look at the selling side, the bid price of the T-bills, primarily because personally, I'm a strong believer in holding my T-bills to maturity, if at all possible, in a rising interest rate market like the one we're currently in. So when I refer to T-bill pricing in this section, I'm referring specifically to T-bill pricing in the secondary market for T-bill purchases only. And in this category, TD Ameritrade gets 1 star. They consistently have the most expensive purchase prices amongst the 4 brokerage companies here. And on top of that, the minimum order requirement is typically $5,000. Fidelity and Vanguard get 2 stars because they're neither the worst nor the best. And Schwab gets 3 stars because they have the best pricing on T-bill purchases in the secondary market practically every time, and also the lowest minimum order requirement of usually $1,000. Now, what I summarized in the secondary market T-bill pricing section gives you just a brief glimpse into what I'll be talking about in the next video. So stay tuned, T-bill fans, because in that next video, I'll also be sharing with you some very interesting insights from our new issue versus secondary market analysis that you won't want to miss. Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, and TD Ameritrade all charge 0 fees when you buy new issue T-bills at auction via their online platform. However, TD Ameritrade gets only 2 stars here because for secondary market trades, they do add a markup to the price that's quoted. The other 3 brokerage firms get 3 stars in this category because they don't charge anything for secondary market treasury trades. Now, if you don't place your order online, if you call in and do this via a fixed income specialist, you could be charged an additional fee of $19.95 or more, depending on the brokerage company you're with. But I didn't include the cost for phone orders in this chart, as this method of placing an order will probably be more of an exception than the rule for the majority of us super savers. Auto roll in the context of T-bills, or auto reinvestment as some firms call it, refers to the option an investor has to automatically reinvest the proceeds from one T-bill at maturity into the next T-bill with a similar term. So for example, if you buy a 3-month T-bill, when that 3-month T-bill matures, the brokerage company would automatically reinvest those proceeds into the next 3-month T-bill, and this will typically continue until the investor stops the auto roll. This is a particularly useful feature for folks like me who are laddering in a rising interest rate environment. And it seems it's also fairly important to many of you from all the questions and comments I've gotten about which brokerages offer this feature and which do not. Auto roll is great because I'm able to continue capturing those higher rates on quasi-autopilot. No need to keep looking at auction schedules every week or every few weeks and figuring out when I need to schedule our next new T-bill purchase order. And when interest rates stop going up, which they eventually will at some point, I can then reevaluate my investment strategy and decide if I want to stop auto roll on our T-bills and put my money elsewhere. In this category, Vanguard gets half a star because, well, they don't offer auto roll. And yes, I did consider putting no star or not offered here. But when I tested that lookout, the inconsistency of a blank box or box with letters bothered me so much that I had to get out of bed and put the half a star back in so I could have a good night's sleep. So half a star it is for Vanguard for not offering auto roll. TD Ameritrade gets 2 stars for auto roll because they do offer it, but you have to call in and do this over the phone after you've placed your order. So it is an extra step. Fidelity gets 2.5 stars on this because you can easily select the auto roll option when you place your order for your new issue T-bill online. To cancel auto roll, though, you have to call them. There is a way to cancel online, but to do this, you would have to wait until they send you an email like this one, letting you know that your Treasury security will be maturing soon and will be invested into the next one with a similar term. If I scroll down this email, you can see that I have the option to cancel this new order in the reinvestment position by clicking here. Anyway, I had originally given Fidelity 2 3/4 stars, but I downgraded them by 1/4 star after the auto roll debacle I had with them over the new issue 17-week T-bill and the not entirely correct assurances they initially gave me over the phone. You can learn more about my auto roll drama with Fidelity in this video here on our newly revamped T-bill ladder. I've linked the video in the description below as well. Schwab gets 2 3/4 stars. They had 3 stars originally because they offer auto roll like Fidelity, and it's easy to cancel by logging into your account and clicking no under this reinvest column. However, they also lost 1/4 star because of the initial misinformation about the 17-week auto roll. But at least they made an attempt to be helpful and offered an expedited resolution. I gave Vanguard 1 star here because I had to wait at least 10 to 15 minutes every time I called in before I could reach a human being. And a few times, I even hung up because the whole time was more than that. TD Ameritrade gets 2 stars because, well, sometimes their wait times are short, sometimes not. And they're generally knowledgeable, super friendly, and very upbeat. Fidelity gets 2.5 stars. I've been with them loyally and mostly happy for decades. The wait times on the phone are usually less than 5 minutes and sometimes as short as 2 minutes. Even my mother keeps me waiting on the phone longer than that. Plus, I generally get the answer I'm looking for. But as I mentioned earlier in the auto roll section, the fact that they gave me the wrong information about the 17-week T-bill the first time around and were neither very helpful nor apologetic when I called for an explanation afterwards left me less than happy. Schwab gets 3 stars in the customer service area, even despite the issues we had with them on the 17-week auto roll. The wait time on the phone with Schwab is typically also less than 5 minutes, and if it's longer than that, I nearly always opt for staying in their queue and having them call me back when it's my turn. Plus, after I opened my Schwab account online, an account representative from my local branch called me several times to see if everything was okay and to ask what else they could do for me. I was pleasantly surprised, I have to say. Now, I know customer service is a very, very personal and sometimes even fickle thing. So, if you have any experiences or perspectives you'd like to share, similar or not to mine, do drop a comment below and let the community know. So, our overall ranking for T-bill purchases. Vanguard gets 1 star for 3 primary reasons. 1. My money sat in the settlement account for 7 calendar days after it was transferred in from my bank before I could place my order. 2. Vanguard doesn't offer auto roll. And 3. Vanguard was neither the worst nor the best in secondary market T-bill pricing. TD Ameritrade gets 2 stars. They're overall very strong, but they missed their 3rd star mainly because they are consistently the least competitive when it comes to secondary market pricing and minimum order volume requirements relative to the others on this list. Also, you can't buy the new issue 17-week T-bill at auction from them currently. They simply don't offer it. Fidelity gets 2.5 stars. This ranking was driven by the fact that their secondary market T-bill pricing is also neither the worst nor the best across the 4 platforms. Plus, yes, again, the auto roll issue and customer service management on the 17-week T-bill that was a huge disappointment for this long-time Fidelity customer. And the winner, drum roll please, is Schwab. In our opinion, Schwab is simply best in class in practically all of these T-bill categories, including secondary market T-bill pricing. On many occasions, I've even found that if an investor wants to buy new issue T-bills on the secondary market a few hours after the auction is over so that they know the price and yield they'll be getting, which they don't when they buy at auction, those just auctioned off T-bills will appear on Schwab as secondary issues before they appear on Fidelity, Vanguard, or TD Ameritrade. Again, more on that in the next video, T-bill fans. And as a reminder, for funds transfer, the only reason Schwab lost a star here to TD Ameritrade was because I had to wait 1 to 2 days for the bank transfer to hit my Schwab account before I could place my first T-bill order. With TD Ameritrade, I was able to place my T-bill order immediately, even before there was any money in my TD Ameritrade account. What can I say? Just count Schwab's Diamond NestEgg yellow stars. And no, Schwab is not sponsoring this video, and neither are any of the other brokerage companies that I'm talking about here. Now, does this mean that everyone who wants to buy treasury bills should go to Schwab? Not necessarily. For example, what if you already have an account with TD Ameritrade or Vanguard and you're just interested in buying new issue T-bills at auction and holding to maturity? What if you don't care about buying T-bills in the secondary market? In this case, the fact that Schwab has the most competitive T-bill pricing and minimum volume requirements in the secondary market is pretty much irrelevant to you. Or take me, for example. Most of my portfolio is still with Fidelity because, well, I've been with them for a very long time and I don't typically buy T-bills in the secondary market. So how they rank in this area is not so important to me. Plus, I don't just own T-bills, and this ranking is based purely from the perspective of T-bill purchases. I'd have to do a much more lengthy and thorough analysis comparing these 4 platforms across their index funds, ETFs, equities, and other investment offerings before making a decision about moving more of my money and or investments over to Schwab. Having said that, I have started testing out a few new things and building out another T-bill ladder at Schwab in a taxable brokerage account, separate from our 17-week T-bill ladder at Fidelity. Stay tuned in the new year for more on that. Everyone's financial journey is different. Based on our experience and in-depth analysis, Schwab does come out on top when it comes to T-bill purchases relative to Fidelity, Vanguard, and TD Ameritrade. But all 4 are established brokerage firms in the market, and what you value based on your goals and criteria may lead you to a different conclusion. Either way, this broker ranking table should make for great dinner conversations over the holidays. And do drop us a note below and let us know what you think of the brokerage company or companies that you're with. I excluded Merrill Edge for 2 reasons. 1, you can only place new issue T-bill purchase orders over the phone. There's no fee for doing this according to them, but it's still an extra step and you do still have to wait on hold when you call them. And every time I've called, the wait times were so long I just hung up. If there are any Merrill folks watching this who have bought new issue T-bills via phone, I'd love to know if Merrill Edge offers auto roll on these. With secondary market T-bill trades, there is no fee if you do this online. But if you call in to do this, there is a service charge of $29.95. 2, the account setup process took longer than average. With the other brokerage companies I've talked about so far, the account setup confirmation came pretty much immediately. With Merrill Edge, it took about a little over 3 days before I received the confirmation that my account was opened. And then I had to wait another 4 days before the funds hit my Merrill account and I could make my first T-bill purchase. With regard to E-Trade, their minimum order volume for purchasing new issue T-bills at auction is typically $5,000, which is high compared to Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, and TD Ameritrade. The minimum order volume for these brokerages is normally $1,000 for new issues. Plus, E-Trade does not offer auto roll. Also, their minimum order volume for secondary market trades is typically on the higher end as well, and their platform is simply not user-friendly. I really needed to hunt down what I was looking for when it came to treasuries. All right, super savers, if you're ready to take the plunge into T-bills at this point, then check out this playlist here on how to buy T-bills at the different brokerage companies, or this video here on what our 17-week T-bill ladder at Fidelity currently looks like. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget that thumbs up, and see you again soon with more on T-bills in the secondary market.